From the Arizona border to the Pacific Ocean, this is the final stretch of Route 66. From the desolate Mojave Desert to the endless Los Angeles suburban sprawl. From the ghosts of former Harvey houses to the Amboy Crater. And it is Route 66 after all, so there will be old motels, vintage gas stations, and quirky stops along the way. Let's finish the mother road, shall we? I'm riding in my RV, wherever I want to be, 'cause I'm free in my RV. Topak 66. Now let's cross to the California side. There's that famous Old Trails Bridge, built in 1916. It carried Route 66 traffic until 1947, when it was decommissioned. It has been preserved ever since as a historic structure. We'll actually see it better from the other side.
Welcome to California.
Oh, thank you. There it is. The first thing we encounter here on the California side is Pirates Cove Resort. Now I'm going to switch to some footage from last summer. Yeah, we actually did this little section twice, because places like this are very seasonal, and it was much livelier when the weather was warmer. You see what I mean? It might actually be cool to come one summer, with a boat preferably. Yeah, it might be an interesting idea to cruise the waters of the Colorado on a pontoon. It's kind of mind-boggling to have something like this in the middle of the desert. We're approaching the beginning of Route 66 in California, the original alignment. This is the sign that would welcome motorists on the Mother Road to the great state of California. At least I think it is. It does look the part. Let's stop and check it out. Oh yeah, here we are. This is officially the beginning of Route 66 in California. That's that famous bridge. I believe it is the one from the movie The Grapes of Wrath, which I just finished reading the book, audiobook actually. So now I know how the story ends. And if you're into history, I mean, of course it's fiction, but it is a very good book by Steinbeck, which is a very good writer. And this is the sign right here. At some point before all this construction, this was what welcomed weary travelers into the Golden State. Let's go all the way to the end. It seems counterintuitive, but this is the side welcoming travelers to California, even though we seem to be looking towards Arizona. But who knows how the Mother Road was aligned back then? Or maybe when they were renovating it, they put the sign backwards, because this side says, "Come again," and we're in California. In any case, it is right here that we begin the journey on Route 66 in California, all the way to the Pacific, all the way to the Santa Monica Pier. And first town we're going to encounter is Needles. I was going to say Needles. But before that, maybe we can have some late lunch at that resort down there. Back in June, I guess this road used to be Route 66. And check it out, everybody enjoying the river. And this is exactly the same spot, but in December. Actually, the sky seems bluer in winter. But so much for that lunch at the resort. Everything seems to be closed. Maybe we can come back next summer. Yep, this is what's for lunch. 'Cause I'm really hungry. Just a little bit of a snack, and then we'll have proper dinner in town. We actually had to get on the interstate, but not for long. We do have to pass by the agricultural inspection station, but these days there's no one here to take your lemons. You see, some things actually improve sometimes. And here we have a proper California sign. Let's look for historic Route 66 now, huh? We're supposed to make a left here. Oh, historic California gateway site. This is it, okay. All right, let's check this out real quick. This is the historic Route 66 California gateway. Let's see, they have it's like a tiny rest area. They have the logo up there and an interpretive sign here. And we are here. It kind of goes a similar route as I-40, but here we're gonna take this detour here. And then there's some part that is closed, but yeah, at least to Barstow, and then from Barstow it's a different story. Let's try without getting run over to see the Route 66 shield here. Oh, and we have a European neighbor. Those European RVs, they look very similar to Pelicruiser. Or should I say, Pelicruiser looks very much like a European RV. Let's continue. Next up, Needles, but we're gonna take the route, the original, the OG route. I have my navigation app here. Next up, the Route 66 motel in Needles, California.
I've been using that Route 66 navigation app. It's been very helpful. This stretch of the Mother Road definitely not in great shape. Those palm trees actually remind me of the Slab City area. Same desert actually. We're entering Needles now, and I think many people don't realize that a good chunk of California is this barren desert, dotted by towns like this one.
The old neon sign advertising the hotel. Well, yeah, here we are at our first point of interest in Needles and in California. The 66 Motel, which seems to have seen better days. I think nowadays it's more like an apartment building.
An abandoned apartment building, it would seem at this point.
Let's snoop around here a little bit.
Established in 1947, by the way. Let's take a look inside. It may actually be under renovation. Apparently, this was also the site of a former Dust Bowl campsite, which makes sense us being so close to the state line.
Here we go. I'm just gonna make a U-turn here and get back on Route 66.
We continue towards downtown, this not being the most attractive part, but I'm sure it will improve. Here, it's improving. And this is what we're going to see next, the Welcome to Needles sign, which is a barracks wagon, originally advertising yet another El Rancho motel on the route, right here. The wagon was originally used to transport a type of salt called borax from Death Valley back in the 1880s, using a team of 18 mules and 2 horses. I'm gonna park in this large empty lot.
We're gonna be getting some beautiful colors here very soon. One thing is for sure, it is not very lively here, but people on this Route 66, they go like it is the freeway. We have River Palm Apartments, if you wanna rent here right on Route 66. And here we have the Shield on the road. Let's see, nobody coming, let's do it. And here's the wagon welcoming us to Needles, California. It stood in front of El Rancho Motel until 1962. All right, let's see what's next on Route 66. Definitely getting our kicks. Well, one of the places to visit here is the Needles Regional Museum, which is closed. I mean, it closed at 2 p.m. So if it opens tomorrow early enough, we might visit. But tomorrow I want to get a head start and cross the Mojave. I mean, not too early, but as early as possible.
Here we are, cruising through a mostly empty downtown Needles on Route 66 on this quiet Monday evening. Here's the museum and the famous Garces Hotel. Let's see if we can get a tour tomorrow. Let's check out Santa Fe Park here.
Oh, here we have a nice monument to Route 66 in Needles. Look at all these palm trees. Look at the moon back there.
Yeah, that moon, and the blue skies, and the palm trees. Such great weather here in California.
Let's check this out. This used to be El Garces Hotel.
Here's some more info, but we're gonna try and get on that tour tomorrow. I'm gonna start heading back. I managed to get a very inexpensive site at the local KOA.
I'm definitely gonna try and come tomorrow morning and book a tour. I mean, we're not in any hurry here.
And here we have the requisite mural, of course.
All right, let's do it. I think it may be time to call it a night, even though it's barely 4 p.m., but there are certain characters roaming around.
There's one more thing I want to see today. It's called Train Park.
Yeah, I think this is all there is to it. All right, let's get to our KOA.
The one negative about filming in California in December, sunset happens so early, at around 4:30 here in Needles. So even though it is not all that late, according to the clock anyway, it feels like it is a lot later, which astronomically it is later. Anyway, here we are at the Needles KOA journey. I got a water and electric site, so we'll continue exploring tomorrow.
Greetings from Pelicamp, and I know you've all been waiting with bated breath for our upcoming adventures with Pelicamper. And don't worry, they're coming soon, but first we have to accessorize it, get it ready for the adventure. Which brings me to our sponsor for this segment, eTrailer.com. And at eTrailer you can find all kinds of accessories for the RV or for towing, camping, even marine. And what sets them apart is really their customer service. They have 7 days a week US-based customer service at their very impressive facility in Wentzville, Missouri. I was there last year and I was very impressed. Actually, a viewer sent me a pair of these, but you can also get them at eTrailer. You just enter your make and model and they're custom fit, perfect for whatever truck you happen to have. For example, in this one I have cameras here at the bottom. Well, it does have a cutout, so those cameras are still functional. Let me see if I read the instructions correctly and let's install it. Yeah, I should have cleaned this up a little better. I think it says you do the bottom first and then yeah, it's that simple. Well, as you can see, these look almost OEM, so I'm going to put a link in the video description and a QR code here on the screen so you can get this from eTrailer. You just put your year, make, and model, and sometimes trim, and yeah, they will fit perfectly. I want to thank eTrailer.com for sponsoring this segment. Well, good morning. Another day on the route here. And I'm going to go back into town. See if we can tour that El Garces Hotel. Maybe I should hit record. And then put gas, and the museum doesn't open for another 24 minutes, so I might fill up the tank first. Because we're going now, after this, we're going remote. We're going into the Mojave Desert. Let's do it. This was for a quick overnight. This was fine, inexpensive, quiet. I didn't really need hookups, but tonight we're probably gonna boondock somewhere. I'm thinking Barstow, but we'll see if we make it there.
There are several RV resorts in this part of town, one of them being riverfront, so maybe next time. I'm going to fill up, and you may notice California gas stations, besides being more expensive, the nozzles are different too. They have these rubber sleeves to prevent vapors from escaping into the air. That's your useless fun fact of the day, unless you're curious about this kind of thing. I'll show you in better detail when we fill up again. Anyway, here we are approaching the museum, so let's see if we can get that tour of the hotel.
Okay, here we are. Let's find out.
here's the mural again. It's not open yet, but it will be soon. And here we have our Route 66 sign.
A very nice lady just told me that they may or may not be offering tours today, so...
It turns out the creator of the comic strip Peanuts lived here as a child, which allegedly inspired the creation of the character Spike, Snoopy's brother, a lonely dog who lives in the desert. I'm always a sucker for old record players. Oh, this one is even better, an Edison phonograph with a cylinder, circa 1905, and a roller organ and a portable record player. It has that antique store feel, almost, more than a museum, but I'd love to see all these artifacts. Oh, I had something similar when I was a kid.
Well, they called a guy that might be able to give me a tour. Let's see. Got me a new Route 66 hat.
We begin the tour at the park with this cannon, and then we'll do the hotel. Notice how the second floor columns are different from the first floor? I wonder why that is. I wish I would have recorded the whole tour because the guide, Mike, is an encyclopedia of the history of El Garces and the town after a lifetime of experiences here. Here we have some old photos of what the interior would have looked like because very little remains, if any, of the original interior of the hotel. It was at one point considered the crown jewel of the Harvey house system, one of the first, let's call it, hotel chains in the US. Many of them situated along the Santa Fe railway system. This wasn't originally in the hotel, almost nothing here is. This was the city safe from 1891 to 1974. Here we have what seems to be some original tile, perhaps from the kitchen, which was converted to a baggage room. Actually, let me tell you what happened. The hotel operated as a Harvey house since its construction in 1908 until 1949. This was where travelers first experienced civilized comforts after crossing the desert. But as automobiles on Route 66 replaced rail traffic and motorists preferred to stay at more convenient motor courts and motels, in the 1950s the building was converted to serve the railroad. The dining room was chopped into offices. The kitchen turned into a baggage room. The interiors were gutted and subdivided, and then in 1961 they demolished the whole eastern third of the building in order to make a parking lot. Yeah, seriously. After decades of neglect, the building was abandoned in 1988. And then there was a fire. I mean, it's a miracle there's anything left for us to see. The hotel was named after Father Francisco Garces, a Franciscan missionary who explored much of the Southwest in the 1700s. Well, as I said, they restored what they could and reopened the building back in 2014. But besides the exterior, what can we see that is original? Well, here we can see some of the original tile work. You can tell where they had to redo some of it. This room would have been the snack bar we saw a picture of earlier. The squares on the floor would have been the bar stools bolted to the ground. This room, perhaps the most vivid reminder that this used to be something else. Apparently all this was Italian tile. And one final anecdote. Mike was telling me the story of one of the many Harvey girls that worked at these hotels, who were basically waitresses. Well, at the end of the story, it turned out that she was his grandmother. So he has family ties to this very special place. This was a great personalized tour, and I want to thank Mike for taking the time to show me his beloved El Garces. Now it is time to move along and say goodbye to Needles for now.
He told me to spread the word about his tours. It's donation based, and now we're a little behind schedule, but now we're driving to the west, and at some point I have to get some lunch. We'll see.
I'm gonna do one more thing here in Needles because with all this touring, I've worked up an appetite. And the wagon wheel here comes highly recommended. It's been here for over 30 years. The building is even older, and it's become a Route 66 landmark.
Oh, they got an A for quirky. Let's see if the food is any good.
Well, this is a good start. Here we have an alien cowboy with 2 guns. Let's see what else. Yep, it definitely looks like Route 66 in here. California style.
Is that a flying saucer? Nice way to be seated.
The menu is supposed to have illustrations by Bob Wildmeyer. Maybe that at the top. Not very full, but it is early.
I'll get started with some chili. This one is a pot roast sandwich. That looks good. Route 66. Yep.
Alright, let's pay, check out the gift shop, and keep on going. Yes, let's go.
Well, that was a very good choice. I guess where the truckers go, that's where you gotta go. Battery 100%. Fresh tank full. Propane tank full. You should be good. We'll stop in about an hour for coffee. Take it slow. It's the Mother Road. Not a whole lot of traffic on the Mother Road.
Here we have some rock sculptures. We had to get on the interstate for about 6 miles, and now we're back on 2 lanes on the Mother Road, going deeper and deeper into the Mojave Desert. Imagine all those Okies, the migrants from the Dust Bowl, coming to California on the promise of fertile land, lots of opportunities, and the first thing you encounter is this desert. Must have been rough. This right here is the pre-1931 alignment of the route. Eventually, a more direct route was opened. Now approaching a town called Goffs, mostly a ghost town these days, but there is a famous landmark, the 1914 Goffs Schoolhouse. And I just found out they are a harvest host, so we could have spent the night here since I didn't really need hookups. They do have the official roadside attraction sign.
Old school lane. The never-ending trains. And here they accept donations. Let's sign the guest book.
The schoolhouse dates back to 1914 and it sat in ruins for many years until eventually it was restored by the Mojave Desert Heritage and Cultural Association. Even though the museum is closed today, the host showed up and offered to open it up for me in exchange of a donation, which I obviously said yes. Some of the furniture, like this table and the teacher's desk, are original. Some of the other items are not. The flag and the portraits are original too. The frames, not the actual photos, those are stored in an archive. According to what I read, at a place this remote, the schoolhouse was not just for education. It was actually the social hub of the town. And I'm so glad I was able to see the inside even though so little remains that is original. Like the stove, which is age appropriate, but this one came out of a caboose. Ooh, an old Victrola. Cool. Here's something I didn't know. This is a stamp mill used in mining to crush the rocks and separate out gold or other minerals. I wish I had the time to see everything in detail. But he just opened it up for a few minutes, and I'm glad. I'm just glad I was able to come inside. Now let's explore the grounds, which are pretty extensive.
They are not officially open on Tuesdays, but for a small donation, he will open up the school as he did. And yeah, very nice. It is a harvest host, and I wouldn't mind staying here at some point. I believe he said $40 for utilities, and then if you don't use utilities, just a donation, which is fine, is what I did. I mean, he gave me the official guide here to Goffs.
The grounds are dotted with all kinds of artifacts. Old cars, mining and railroad equipment related to the town's long history. It is also the desert tortoise capital of the world. Here, some relics from the mining era. Before there was a Goffs, the area was inhabited by the Mojave people. Then, in the 1770s, Father Francisco Garces passed through here. But it wasn't until 1893, when the railroad came, that the town was founded, known as Blake until 1902. Then came the mining era, gold and copper mostly, which attracted even more people to the area. By the way, this seems to be like a picnic area, like a common area. Maybe they have events sometimes. Anyway, back to the history. During the late 1920s, it became a major Route 66 stop, but that only lasted until 1931 when the route was realigned. Mining declined too in that era, marking the beginning of the end. Then, during World War II, the town became a large US Army depot and training center, but by the 1960s, what was left of Goffs had become a ghost town. Ooh, Amboy Crater, we're going there later. Beautiful scenery. And that's gotta be the old railroad depot.
Might as well go all the way to the end. We're here.
Actually, the original depot didn't survive. This is a replica so we can see what it would have looked like, and nowadays it houses the historical archives.
Ooh, there's an RV dump station. Black tank is empty, but it's good to know.
Next time we're in this area, we're definitely staying here.
Might as well just go. I'm gonna go around here one last time and we continue. I have to figure out what's the next point of interest.
Beautiful day here in California. In early December we are.
Next stop is a town, or maybe it's not a town, it's something called Fenner, California. I wonder if all these are campsites where you could stay as a harvest host. Huh. There you go, Burma Shave, USS Utah. This definitely looks like an RV site. The power pedestal and all that. Huh.
Yeah, these seem to be water and electric sites. This would be a pretty unique stay, let me tell you. We must do it sometime.
Like the grapes of wrath. Well, this was very cool, larger than I expected. The couple that runs it right now on the off days, it's they're work camping. And they're running the harvest host too. So
Next stop is called the Najas Desert Oasis, at what's left of a town called Fenner. They do have the Route 66 sign, and we are on the original alignment. And this would be a good place to fill up if you're running low, because there won't be another gas station until Ludlow. That's 54 miles taking I-40. It definitely looks like an oasis in the middle of the Mojave Desert.
it's an oasis, all right.
You think they have enough Route 66 signs? They want to make sure you know you are on the Mother Road and maybe buy a souvenir. Let's take a look inside, but I have a feeling this is just going to be like a regular gas station. Yeah, if I hadn't reached my allotment of Route 66 t-shirts, I might have bought one.
I do believe Route 66 is closed for a section here coming up, so we're gonna have to take the interstate, I-40, which, I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's gonna be about an hour drive. We're gonna take the interstate and then go back down to Route 66 and backtrack a little bit to the area that we couldn't see. And it's getting late. This day is going quicker than expected. Woo! The Oasis here. There's the gas station. A very expensive gas station, $7.99 for a regular. Ouch! I'm glad I filled up in needles.
Not so fun fact, I betcha it's more expensive now. Let's verify that Route 66 is indeed closed. Yeah, indeed, this section has been closed for a while.
Driving to the west, into the sunset, driving to the west. Driving to the west, into the sunset, driving to the west. Driving through New Mexico, Arizona, even California. I'm gonna get my kicks on 66.
Well, in order to get our kicks today, we have to take this road going south. It's called Kelbaker Road. It is a very scenic downhill drive. This is what it's all about, taking drives like this one. And just like that, we're back on the Mother Road. Let's stop really quick and see what this sign says.
This is no good.
There's another road closure up ahead. Bad timing. There's the Amboy Crater and Roy's Cafe way out there. But we're going to make another stop first.
Let's cross the Mother Road here real quick. I mean, I've been through here before, and I've always seen these statues. And now that I have the Route 66 app, it says that there is a Chinese lion or something like that. So let's just walk over there and see what it is. I don't see any no trespassing signs, but obviously people have driven through here. So I'm really bummed out that the road is closed ahead, but it is what it is. I might dig some footage from when we did this back in 2018, I want to say. Yeah, this is very strange. Yeah, no idea what this is. May have been part of a larger structure at some point. And there is another one a little further downhill, so I don't know. If anybody has any idea what this is, what this means, I see people have, inscribed their autographs. It's very nice. It's like glossy, like marble, kind of. One of the many strange things we can find in the desert. The desert is full of surprises. And it doesn't get any more desert than this. Cruiser.
Well, after further research, these are supposed to be Chinese guardian lions, which are usually found at temples or palaces, always in pairs, but these nobody knows who put them here or why, and it must have been quite the undertaking because they are heavy. As I said, they always come in pairs, so here's the other one. The first one we saw was the female with the cub, this one is a male with the ball. Next stop, Amboy, California, and Roy's Motel and Cafe. It no longer functions as a motel, nowadays it is just a coffee shop and a gas station.
Oh, here we go. This is the official roadside attraction sign. Which, by the way, these roadside attraction signs here in California seem a little more worn out than the ones in like eastern states, but
We are also in the desert.
founded in 1858. And this back here obviously used to be hotel rooms. Take a look inside. Yeah. I wonder when was the last time someone stayed here. Officially or unofficially. This one doesn't have the yellow tape, so maybe that means we can go in, or maybe that means that the yellow tape broke. Look how the bathroom used to be. Don't look at that. The tiny shower. Yeah, I have a feeling I'm not supposed to be in here. Anyway.
Opened in 1938, the property thrived, peaking in the 1950s. But in the 70s, traffic disappeared because of the interstate. We've heard that story before. And it just withered away until it finally closed in the early 1990s. It sat abandoned for over a decade until it was bought in 2005 and eventually partially reopened and preserved. The lobby has been decorated as it would have looked. I think the term nowadays is mid-century. Yes, apparently as of 2026, the only thing open is the gas station, and there's like a coffee shop and a gift store inside. These are very old pumps, still in use. I wonder what's up with the horse.
Here we go. Let's see what they have in here. So this used to be like a diner.
Apparently they don't have a food license at the moment, but according to the website, they're working on it. For now, you can get coffee and ice cream.
I was gonna ask how much further we can drive on this one, but she's busy helping other customers, so I'm just gonna drive. I have plenty of gas. We should be able to. I mean, if we have to backtrack, we can always boondock somewhere. And here we have the Amboy post office. I got some information. Apparently, one of the bridges collapsed and it's temporarily closed, but it's gonna reopen in about a week, so if we come back.
Yeah, spoiler, we didn't come back.
Yeah, I might be able to splice it in. We'll see. Here we have the shoe tree.
Apparently, at some point, someone put 1 or 2 pairs and, humans. Everybody else started doing the same, and now we have this. It is just another one of those quirky things along the route. How about a quick aerial view? There's Amboy Crater, and the idea is to hike all the way to the top. I'm still a little sore from my Grand Canyon hike, but I think I can do it. Yeah, apparently the neon sign was recently restored and repainted. It's getting late, so let's get underway.
Alright, let's go all the way up to the crater. I mean, I'm not looking forward to backtracking all the way back here, all the way to I-40, but the road is closed. Poor timing. Who knew? Who would have known, Maybe I should have checked with Caltrans before I did this trip. That only means we have to come back, right? So we're not gonna see Bagdad. or whatever is left, which is nothing, of Baghdad and the rest of it. Let's do it. Amboy Crater or bust. And then we gotta look for somewhere to spend the night because the sun is getting really low in the sky.
There's a road closed sign ahead, but it does say that access to the crater is allowed, so let's continue.
Alright, let me put on my hiking shoes and do this. Okay, here's what I found out. Apparently overnight is allowed at that overflow parking lot. This is all BLM land. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. And then tomorrow, first thing in the morning, I'm gonna hike to the crater. And then, yeah, where's the trailhead? Again, allow yourself 3 hours.
Amboy Crater. Yeah, really looking forward to climbing tomorrow. And there's Pelicruiser.
And the sun came out. Came back to the RV, got some water, and we're gonna go for a practice run.
Walking along this lava field. Very cool.
Yeah, this is gonna be a good hike tomorrow morning. Just a quick practice run today. I'm gonna do maybe half an hour and then return. I mean, sunset is like at 4:30. That's crazy. It's like 3 p.m. now.
Another reason for this test run, well, I'm still very sore from my Grand Canyon hike.
I'm almost breaking a sweat here, but I didn't want to risk it. You know, the temperature could start dropping any second now as the sun goes down. So look at all that volcanic rock, frozen magma. If the trail went straight to the crater, it would be a lot quicker, but it meanders all over the place and not entirely obvious in certain parts. I think I'm just gonna do like another quarter mile and call it a day. Tomorrow, first thing in the morning, we're hiking. Yeah, this is it. I'll be back tomorrow. Let's return.
Check it out. That is Amboy. Way out there. Let's see if we can spot Roy's Cafe. That's not it. Oh, there it is on the right. I'm sure that van is going to overnight here, and I doubt anybody is going to come and kick them out, but still, I'm gonna go to the official boondocking lot just in case. Besides, I'd rather be by myself and give them some privacy too. Yep, this is going to work.
You can hear a pin drop in this place.
Someone wrote that on the pavement, perfectly aligned with the cinder cone of the Amboy volcano.
Such a direct view of Route 66 over there. Look at that.
That is amazing. What a great view.
There's a small airport over there.
Maybe they're doing like an aerial tour of the area? The views from up there must be spectacular.
Yeah, someone wrote this. Burning candles. That's pretty cool.
It's one of those meant to be seen from a certain angle.
Yeah, boondocking for the night.
Alright, let's go to the trailhead. Alright, let's get on this trail.
Well, good morning. A little bit windy this morning here, but we're gonna do. Oh, hold on. I almost forgot my hiking shoes. All right, take two. Now I'm ready. Yeah, heat warning. Not today. It's not that bad actually. It's like 50 degrees, so it's good hiking weather. And I have a feeling at some point I'm gonna wanna shed a layer, but yeah. By the way, I have all trails tracking me, and apparently it is almost 4 miles in total. So, yep. Of course, never forget to look back. What a beautiful morning here. We're definitely getting close. The volcano looks a lot bigger. Is that a volcano, or would you call it more like a cinder cone, right? I wonder what these are. Tumbleweed. Well, up until now it's been flat, but now we're starting to, gain some elevation.
Ooh, a rest stop, so you can take a break before the big climb.
Oh yeah, when they put a bench, that probably means that there is a view.
Yep, pretty commanding view. Here's looking back towards Amboy. And Pelicruiser is still there.
Here we go, one final look back here as we're about to walk into the shadow of the volcano. I think we're going all the way around the cinder cone and then up, if I read the map correctly. Yeah, we're at the point where it's gonna start getting steeper as we get up there. I have a feeling it's going to be really windy up there. Our view, and that's the shadow of the volcano there. We're almost there. This is the crater over here. Let's see. I'm gonna go straight and then do the rim loop.
Here we have some rock art.
Wow. This is the crater. That's north. And this looks like the symbol of peace, right? The yin yang. No, that's the yin yang. And the cross. Clockwise or counterclockwise? Maybe counterclockwise. And then back on Route 66. Now I guess the trail goes that way. Back to the rim. Well, made it to the rim, but tell you what, it is incredibly windy up here. I mean, more windy than I'm comfortable with. So I'm not gonna do like the rim trail. I think I'm gonna go back exactly the way I came. With great views, I mean, you can see everything. You can even see Pelicruiser down there at the parking lot. The town of Amboy, and one of those mile-long trains. There's something like a dust storm over there in the distance. All right, made it back down into the crater. And let me tell you, ever since that fall I had in Quartzsite 3 years ago, Was it 3 years ago? Yeah, I've been super careful. I mean, these loose rocks can be treacherous. Anyway, I'm taking this flatter path now. I don't know if I might go up to the rim over there, see what it looks like, but I don't know. Why not? What's another quarter mile up here on uphill on loose gravel? The loose gravel is what I'm really afraid of. And I don't know exactly in which order I'm going to publish this. Hopefully a chronological, but it's been exactly, a week since my epic Grand Canyon hike with Mark. And my legs are almost 100% back, which is good because that's the most strenuous thing I've done in my life, that hike. Look at the crater back there. And we're almost at the rim. Check that out. Epic, epic, epic. And look at the shadow of the canyon. And well, this is not the highest point, but we got almost 360-degree views. Let's walk a little more this way while we're up here. I mean, we're, what, an hour in? Oh, there's Peli Cruiser down there. Let me zoom in. I'm just gonna walk a little more to that false summit there, and that's it. And hopefully by 9 a.m. we'll be on the way, on the route. Yeah, this was a nice detour from Route 66 for sure. If it gets too sketchy, oh, look at the crater down there now. Cool, if it gets a little sketchier than this, I'm not gonna do it. But so far, not too many loose gravel. Not too much, yeah. Here we are. The rim trail. All Trails is giving me some notifications here. We've done 1.93 miles. There's no right or wrong way to do this one. It's just you can either go all the way around or not. And I'm not gonna. Yeah, I might do a Pelican Head update from here now that the wind has died down a little bit.
It's a huge lava field. We've got some dust storms over there. Way out there, must be a sandy area.
We've had enough fun this morning hiking here. I took a 10-minute break up here, took some pictures, did a Pelican Head update. Yeah, we're not that high, but it's very rewarding short hike here today. Yeah, trekking poles would have come in handy in certain parts, but heading back to the main trail.
We're back at the trailhead. Let's get Peli Cruiser ready and hit the road. We still have many miles ahead of us today.
Let me make sure everything is like put away. We don't want to have an accident here. Yeah, everything looks good. That was a very rewarding hike. Now on the road again, and let me show you on the map here what we have to do, just because the Route 66 is closed. So normally we would go left, west here to Bagdad, Siberia, Klondike, Ash Hill, and eventually Ludlow. But this whole section is closed right now. Even though it says 21 minutes faster, that's not true. So we have to backtrack to here up, and then take I-40, and hopefully then we can continue on Route 66 all the way to Los Angeles, California. Anyway, let's hit the road.
I'm gonna stop to take a selfie, I forgot yesterday, and then continue.
Driving to the west, into the sunset, driving to the west. Driving to the west, into the sunset, driving to the west. Driving to the west, into the sunset, driving to the west. Driving to the west, into the sunset, driving to the west. Driving to the west. Driving to the west, into the sunset, driving to the west. Driving to the west, into the sunset, driving to the west. Driving to the west.
Ludlow Cafe.
I'm not really hungry, but let's check it out anyway. It's definitely got character. It is perhaps the last operating diner in what was at one point a thriving Route 66 stop. Although, according to what I read, this is not the original Ludlow Cafe. Apparently, this is a newer business that chose to continue the legacy of the original diner. It definitely deserves a stop, and if I was hungry, I would have definitely patronized the business. Oh no, it does look like the next section of Route 66 is also closed.
Bummer.
Here's another one of those funky California gas pumps.
Well, here we are. I'm kind of bummed out that this next section of the route is also closed. So there's nothing to do. But let's check it out, because besides the Ludlow Cafe, there's also the Ludlow Motel. So I put very expensive gas here at $6.49, but I don't want to risk it. Ludlow Motel. I don't even know if this is open. I don't even know. Yeah, I guess it is a working motel still.
Yeah, I don't really know what the story here is either. It has that look like it's being recently renovated, so at least it has a fresh coat of paint. Not much else to see here in Ludlow, so let's continue. One of the main points of interest we've missed because of the road closure is the last remnant of the Bagdad ghost town, which is basically a tree, so we haven't really missed that much. In this section, we're going exactly parallel to the mother road, so it is okay if we take the interstate, I guess.
Well, I saw a sign that said Historic Route 66 next to right, so I'm like, do you think it might be open?
Yes, it is. We're back on the slower two-lane road, and as you can see, we're going exactly parallel to I-40. Arriving at a town called Newberry Springs, here we have the remnants of yet another gas station that went belly up. This one was the Whiting Brothers gas station.
This one definitely didn't pass the test of time.
The whole area looks kind of sad.
Alright, let's continue.
Next up, the famed Bagdad Cafe. There must have been a motel there at some point.
It feels very desolate out here. Here we have these two airstreams decorated with murals, California dreaming. Look at that. That would be like grapes of wrath quality. Have some very cool. I don't think there's anybody in here. It's just here's another. Maybe they sell stuff out of them seasonally. I don't know. Yeah, it almost looks like someone lives in there. And as the story goes, Baghdad's cafe fame comes from a German movie that was filmed here. But I think in the movie they were pretending to be at the ghost town of Baghdad, which we would have passed, several miles back. And the rest is history. I think this place has become very popular with like German tourists. Let's see. Very cool. Let's see if they're open.
I always say it and never do it, but maybe I should put my sticker here.
Yeah, nope, it's not open. It's not open today. And according to what I read, this stopped serving food several years back, and it was just like a gift shop, but I guess not even that anymore. All right, we will continue. There's another eatery in town that is supposed to be really good. There's like a Mexican place, so we'll check it out.
And that's it for Baghdad Cafe, made famous by that 1987 German movie.
Breaking Bad looking RV.
There's our lazy guard dog.
The only resident of the Baghdad Cafe.
I imagine there have to be some people around. Maybe the folks who run the place live in these Airstreams or that old motorhome, but there's no one to ask.
Alright, we're gonna take a quick detour from the route to visit another abandoned place.
We're very close to Barstow at this point, where I-40 and I-15 converge, so I-15 is just about 9 miles north of us, and the next point of interest is right off I-15. This is it, going over I-15. We're getting very close, and in fact, here we are. This used to be Lake Dolores Water Park, originally opened in the late 1950s. There are some folks here, and I don't know who they are or what they're up to, so I might wait for them to leave so I can explore at more leisure. It looks like they may be doing some photo shoot or something, so maybe my apprehension was unjustified. Alright, let's do some urban exploring.
Yeah, this part of California is already giving me a little bit of Slab City vibes, but yeah, there were some folks here. I don't know if they were graffitiing or whatnot, but I didn't want to interfere. I waited until they left. Hopefully we won't encounter anybody else here, but take a look at this place. I would fly the drone, but I think it is too windy for that. So we're getting a little bit of everything here in this video. Even a little bit of urban blight exploring. I'm just gonna go all the way to this abandoned building here and then keep going because it is getting late. But I didn't wanna skip this place. Yeah, it's all decaying, all abandoned, and I don't think it was that long ago that this place was still operational. Yeah, it's all gone.
I think this may have been the original entrance to the park, which closed originally in 1990 due to low attendance, and then they reopened in 1998. But there was an accident and a lawsuit, and they closed for good in 2004.
Yeah, from the Amboy Crater to an abandoned water park. California has a little bit of everything. Anyway, let's go back down to Newberry Springs, maybe get some lunch. Barstow, And I don't think we're gonna be able to do much more after that. You know, sunset is so early. And that's I-15 over there, so. Well, that was pretty cool. I'm glad we got to see it.
Let's get back on the route. Ooh, our luck. We've got multiple trains. The amount of rail traffic that goes through this area is truly mind-boggling. We have two possible choices for lunch here. One of them coming up here on the right, the barn. But it doesn't open until 3 p.m. It might have been a fun place to see. It's got that Route 66 vibe. The other place recommended by the Moon Guide is the Newberry Cafe, but I don't know. I'm kind of not feeling it.
I don't know, for some reason this place, not feeling it. I may be missing out on the best food on the route, but in this case I'll take the risk. Let's put a fresh new battery on the 360 and keep going. I mean, I have food in here. Whenever we can stop, I can just microwave me a quick can of soup, or I do have some burgers that I have to thaw. And yeah, it comes highly recommended by that book that I was reading, but besides, something smells bad out there. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's related to the restaurant, but it's like kind of dirty. Anyway,
let's continue towards Barstow. Next, we have a town called Daggett. Not much to see. I mean, the desert market coming up here on the left has been continuously operating since 1908. And there are some other historic structures like the Stone Hotel, where John Muir stayed many times, and here on the right, the Daggett Garage. But at this point, I'm kind of ready for a long break. So I'm just gonna make a beeline for Barstow. I'm gonna park at Walmart and have a bite to eat before continuing. I'm kind of sorry I didn't patronize any of the businesses here, but anyway, that house coming up with the funny roof is also historic. It's been there since 1926.
I'm gonna have this Amy gumbo. It's pretty good, actually. It's not bad. Yeah, I had one of these not long ago, and it tasted really good. Once you have a 24/7 inverter in the RV, it would be so hard to live without one, you know? Yeah. Thanks to Remy for that installation. All right, 2 minutes. Here we go. Well, I just checked and there are no harvest hosts along our route, so I don't know where I'm gonna sleep tonight. We'll figure it out. But right now, I'm hungry. Look at that. Yeah, there's a fly. But the bad news is there don't seem to be too many overnight options between here and Cajon Pass. So we'll see.
It is what it is. The closer we get to the city, the harder it's going to get. This is the historic Route 66 section of Barstow. I don't think I've ever driven through here. Next, we're going to the Route 66 Mother Road Museum, housed in the local Harvey house. Yes, there is one here too, called Casa del Desierto. There it is, and it looks pretty impressive. let's find parking. There's also the Western America Railroad Museum, which only opens Friday through Monday, so we're out of luck there. The Route 66 Museum is about to close at 2 p.m., but maybe we have time for a quick visit. Yeah, I'm gonna have to park on the other side.
All right, let's see what's open and what's closed. They have all these, rail cars here in the parking lot. Very cool. Let's see. Everything seems to indicate that I may have to spend the night here in Barstow. Which, since tomorrow we don't have any hikes or anything like that, it makes sense. Trying to record here. It makes sense that, leave at the crack of dawn. We should be in LA by 10 a.m. at the latest. Okay, here we go. Today's Sunday, Monday. Okay, today's Wednesday, so it is closed. By the way, it used to be the Harvey house here. Casa del Desierto, I think it's called.
It's another one of those hotels built into the train station.
I'm gonna go to the one place that seemed to be open and I'll get some information there.
I managed to get into the Mother Road Museum just as they were closing down. Very lucky. Of course, you have to have an old sewing machine. It's a requirement. Not a singer though. Pretty good collection of old record players.
Oh yeah, in the nick of time, they close at 2. Let me see now if I don't know where the entrance is. We'll figure it out.
I wonder if it still functions as a passenger train station. It looks like it does.
Oh, here's the name. Casa del Desierto, which is Spanish for desert house. Very similar, the lower level has the Doric columns and then, are those Ionic or Corinthian? Combination of. And here's the historical marker for the Harvey house.
Let's check out the interior. I believe you can take like a self-guided tour.
Let's see. Well, here we have some ballrooms that we can see from the old Harvey house. Look at that lamp, that's pretty wild.
It does look like it is still an events venue.
And on the second floor, they have the NASA Goldstone Visitor Center.
Let's see what else there is. Oh well, here's another ballroom. Here we have a display with some artifacts from the Harvey House era. Since Barstow was an important hub, this Harvey House was in operation much longer, finally closing down in 1973. That might be a cool movie to watch. Let's check out the second floor, which the NASA Visitor Center seems to be closed today. It doesn't seem like there is a whole lot to see up here except for this view. Here we have an old photo of the Harvey house. Oh, check it out! There was something to see after all. This must be some kind of simulator.
Well, in here we didn't get a tour, but at least, it's somewhat preserved. I imagine this one is still being used as a railroad station. Very nice. Well, since there isn't anything, I mean, there's nothing else to see here in Barstow. There's a couple of, roadside motels and whatnot going out of town. I think I might as well just keep pushing. It's going to be mostly south towards Cajon Pass, and we'll figure it out. We still have a little over 2 hours of daylight, so let's walk along these rail cars. And that's my rail car, Pelicruiser.
There's El Rancho, which seems to be permanently closed. Roy's Cafe. There are several nice murals here. And of course, the Route 66 Motel. We continue driving into the sunset. Let's see how far we can get today. I have no idea what this is, but I had it marked on my map. It seems to be a private ranch, one of those things you save on your map but don't remember why, and it is featured on the Route 66 app, but there is no description or context. Alright, let's top off the tank right here before we get into the city. I mean, they do have Route 66 in the name, so it seems appropriate. Let's stop by, it is called Sagebrush Annie's Saloon. There used to be a Texaco gas station at some point here until the 1970s. That's what I read anyway, but now it is a private residence with this Old West false front mock-up of a dance hall, which is fairly new. Apparently it was installed around 2009. And if it is Route 66, you gotta have an antique car. Alright, let's continue towards Elmer's Tree Bottle Ranch. Little did I know the actual historic structure was right next door. Oh well. This is it, the famous Bottle Ranch. Since the 1950s, Elmer Long started collecting stuff in the desert during camping trips with his father, some of this dating back to the 1800s. When his father died, Elmer turned that collection into what we see here. This art installation, which kept growing throughout the years. Sadly, Elmer passed in 2019, but his son Elliot is keeping his legacy alive.
I don't know why, but something about this place kind of reminds me of the Signpost Forest in Alaska. I mean, not in Alaska. Is it in the Yukon?
Yeah, Watson Lake.
I don't know. Yeah, let's come here to the back, see what else there is.
There's no one back here. No one hosting the property at this point. It's kind of late in the day anyway, I guess.
Oh, an old satellite dish. Check that out. One of those C-band dishes, I guess.
Back here we have yet another eclectic collection of antiques. An old cash register, some pumps. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a pelican, but no, it's a seagull. Fly, seagull. I need to do laundry. It keeps going and going. I guess someone lives back there. I mean, someone has to maintain this, right? But there's no one to talk to. So actually, this should be a harvest host. This right here would be a great spot to overnight. All right, let's see what's the next destination. We are getting really, really close now to LA, and I don't know if I'm gonna find a spot to overnight. I could always backtrack to Barstow.
Actually, there's a harvest host, a brewery in Hesperia, but they're closed on Wednesdays. Now arriving at a town called Oro Grande, the Mohawk Mini Mart here has some historical significance in the context of the route. We've got some murals, as any self-respecting Route 66 town should have. The next town, Victorville. Holland Burger here on the right was apparently featured in one of the Kill Bill movies, and it is very historical as well. It's been there since 1947. We are arriving in Victorville, and here on the right, the Route 66 Museum. Perhaps the last of its kind we'll see along the route. At this point, I didn't know there was a fenced parking lot inside, so I'm just gonna stop here, although the neighborhood does feel a little sketchy. I mean, it is probably not dangerous per se, but there are a lot of homeless people loitering around, which gives a bad first impression.
Let's check it out really quick.
By the way, I moved the RV to the main parking lot. Not an easy feat.
There you go, they have the official attraction sign.
Here we have the original end of the trail booth from the Santa Monica Pier. At least it seems to be. Maybe it is a replica. And here a picture of the finish line, which we may or may not reach tomorrow. Cool to see all this ancient communication technology. Probably not the best or most organized or best executed museum along the route, but the staff is super friendly, and did I mention? This is the last museum we'll see along the route. Here's a very old Route 66 map.
Nice teardrop camper here.
they have a bunch of souvenirs and stuff.
Alright, there's a Cracker Barrel not too far away, and apparently they allow overnight parking. I could go for a fried chicken tonight. Here we go, Victorville, California. That's kind of like a backwards map. Which is all good. I guess that's the only way they could do it. To be honest, I think California could do a little better with their museum, but it's fine. It's good. Oh, the moon's coming out. We're gonna have a full moon tonight. Anyway, let me check out this area out here, and yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal tomorrow. The Santa Monica Pier, Main Street, America. Yeah, tomorrow we are kind of right here, so tomorrow we're gonna do San Bernardino, Pasadena, Los Angeles, and beyond.
Here we have a Santa Fe Railroad caboose, as you do.
Yeah, this is very cool because as we started in California in Needles, then we made it Cracker Barrel. That's where we're staying tonight. All right, the sun is getting really low in the horizon, so I'm gonna see if I can go to that Cracker Barrel. Getting out of here could be a challenge. We'll see.
Cracker Barrel is 7.5 miles away on I-15. I'm gonna go straight there since it is getting kind of late, but tomorrow I might backtrack, see the historic part of town, and most importantly, drive Route 66 through it. Sometimes I just have to resurrect the Miami driver in me, like right now. And I have a feeling that is going to be the case for the rest of the way as we traverse the greater Los Angeles metropolitan area. I'm gonna have to park back here, behind this trailer. Not the cleanest spot, but it will have to do. See you tomorrow. I did go inside for some fried chicken, as you do, and I hope it is going to be a quiet night.
Well, good morning. Yeah, the sun is rising on the east. And today will be probably one of the most challenging days of this entire Route 66 adventure. Today we're driving to the finish line. Today we're driving through the heart of the Los Angeles metropolitan area. So this might take all day. Let's do it. Santa Monica or bust. Alright, first thing, I'm going to backtrack 7 miles, a little over 7 miles, to Victorville, to the town of Victorville, because we missed a couple of things, you know, and take the route properly. Route 66.
This Walmart here, no overnight parking. I'm so glad most Cracker Barrels still allow it, and you get to eat at the country store. Here we are once again by the museum. One more block and we'll make a right, continuing on historic Route 66. Let me park at this empty gas station for a minute so we can see the sign, take a picture, and keep on going. Old Town Victorville, Route 66. It's clear we're no longer in the ghost town part of the route. In fact, aside from Cajon Pass, it is going to be pretty much uninterrupted suburbs turning more and more into city until we get to Santa Monica. Even though I'm excited to make it to the finish line, I must admit, I'm going to miss the open road, the big sky desert we've experienced until now. Before we cross the snow-capped San Gabriel Mountains, one more defunct site. This used to be the site of the Summit Inn, built in 1952. It burned to the ground in 2016 during a wildfire. Those happen a lot in California, it would seem. But if you want to rebuild it, it seems the property is for sale. Good luck with that. Here we are climbing up to Cajon Pass. I often forget how beautiful this part of California is. The greater Los Angeles area on the other side of these mountains. I guess no matter what time of the day, LA is that eternal traffic jam, and I think we just hit morning rush hour. Here we're gonna get back on historic Route 66. No reason to be on the heavy traffic of the freeway if we don't have to. We're arriving in San Bernardino, and it is going to be uninterrupted suburbs from here on. We're starting to get that Southern California look with the tall, skinny palm trees. Our first stop here, the original McDonald's. The museum, it is still closed at this early hour, but at least we can see the location.
Well, good morning again. This right here is the site of the first McDonald's restaurant. It is nowadays, the original building it no longer exists, and this is nowadays a museum that doesn't open for another 2 hours or so, so we're just gonna see it from the outside. And yeah, greetings from San Bernardino.
They do have the Route 66 Roads and Attraction sign, so it must be legit, even though we're not actually on Route 66. Neither was the Big Texan for that matter, so...
There it is, the site of the original McDonald's. Yeah, I believe what you can see inside is mostly memorabilia and collectibles and that kind of thing. So, I mean, it would have been nice to visit, but I'm more of a Burger King guy anyway. Let's see what they have here in the back, and we continue. Yeah, they have like a hot dog, some oversized Happy Meals or whatever. Very cool. And the thing is, I do want to make it to Santa Monica today at some point. We're taking a detour from the route. We're gonna see a couple of other points of interest here in San Bernardino, and then we're just gonna take Route 66 again. Yeah, some of these are like, I guess they are for drainage, but I've been bottoming out at some of these intersections, and there's a fair amount of unhoused, if you will.
The mountains and the tall, skinny palm trees. So Southern California. Here's our next point of interest coming up here on the right. This is the California Theater of the Performing Arts, opened in 1928. This was the site of the last Will Rogers performance before his airplane accident in Alaska. I'm going to park for a moment, taking the architecture. In the early days of Hollywood, filmmakers would test screen their movies here. It would have been cool to be able to tour the inside, see and hear the original Wurlitzer organ, still in use. Here's our next stop, the Santa Fe Depot. This also used to be a Harvey house, built in 1918.
Stopped here real quick at the Santa Fe Depot. Well, this is a little bit of detour, and we're a little bit behind schedule already on Route 66, but I wanted to see this building has a unique architecture.
It is kind of between Mission and Moorish and Spanish colonial revival, and nowadays it houses the San Bernardino History and Railroad Museum, which I believe is closed today.
It's also a regular Amtrak station, so maybe we can see what it looks like inside.
That's the classic railroad station look.
This is what it looks like in here. And that's the History of Railroad Museum, which is closed today, I believe. Open Saturdays only.
Cool, the classic shoe shine chair.
But that's the thing, these museums with such limited hours are very hard to coordinate, right? Yeah. They have a model of the San Bernardino Santa Fe station, Santa Fe depot. Well, yeah, I was 90% sure the museum was going to be closed, but it was worth a try. Santa Fe.
Let's take one final look and hit the road.
All right, let's continue. Now we're going to take the route for real into San Bernardino and then Pasadena, and I don't know how much I'm going to be able to stop along the way. Well, so far this theory of using 2 diagonal parking spaces to be able to park Pelicruiser pretty much almost anywhere has worked out pretty good. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of visibility to my back now, so I'll just go really slow and they will have to stop. My rear camera pretty much looks to the ground. Okay, now we're going to get back on Route 66.
This is a Mexican restaurant called Mitla Cafe,
Established in 1937.
opened by Lucia Rodriguez and still owned by the same family. It is said that the hard-shell tacos sold here were the inspiration for Taco Bell. In the 1950s, Glenn Bell, founder of Taco Bell, took that idea, simplified it, standardized it, and now millions of people around the world think they're eating Mexican food.
I was very tempted to go in there and have like a breakfast, but I think I'm gonna fast this morning and save my appetite for lunch. Something will come up. There's also Juan Pollo here on the corner, but we're gonna keep going. Our next stop is the Wigwam Motel. Where have we seen another one? Oh, Holbrook, Arizona, I believe.
We are now, finally, officially on the Route 66 again.
Here it is, the Wigwam. Let's see if we can park.
The Wigwam, the last one built in 1949, and one of only 3 of these villages still in existence nowadays. This one, the one we saw in Holbrook, Arizona, and there's one, the second one built in Cave City, Kentucky. I'm just gonna drive all the way around and continue. One day I would like to stay in one of these teepees, but not today. This one seems to be the best maintained of the 2 on Route 66. It has a working swimming pool and a fresh coat of paint. It seems pretty empty, like there's a lot of vacancy. And this is the thing, we are not really close to any big attractions that I know of, so well, I guess at this point the hotel itself is the attraction, it being so unique. It is beautifully landscaped.
Yeah, I'm kind of tempted to back it into that spot and explore on foot, but there's a sign that says parking only for customers, so I don't wanna. I mean, it is very well preserved. It is obviously a working hotel at this point. All right, let's get out of here slowly. I don't want to bottom out. Here we go.
Chris's burger there is supposed to be really good because I have it marked on my map, I don't know why. The pastrami sandwich seems to be one of their specialties. We're going to be crossing several cities along the way, each with its own slightly unique character. And now we enter Rancho Cucamonga.
Rancho Cucamonga. I just like saying that name, Cucamonga.
Yeah, it's Cucamonga, by the way.
That's the hat. I don't know why I have it marked on my map, but I'm gonna see if I can stop and change batteries anyway. World famous pastrami. Okay, they have a world famous pastrami.
On the left.
Pastrami seems to be totally a thing in this area.
I'm not necessarily in the mood for pastrami, so I'm not gonna do it, but we know it's there.
Actually, I'm in a weird food mood today. I might eat something in the RV later. Rancho Cucamonga seems to be a little more into the Route 66 motif. I like it. There's signage everywhere. And we are approaching one of the best preserved and perhaps the last classic gas station we'll see on this trip. Is anybody keeping track of how many we've seen? I sure haven't. Anyway, this is the famous Cucamonga service station from 1915, the only remaining original structure from that era in the whole state of California. And I'm ready for another break. This part of the trip is taking way longer than expected. Well, it is certainly well preserved. After closing down in 1971, it sat abandoned for many years. Then in 2013, the station was donated to the Route 66 Inland Empire California Association, and they meticulously restored it as it would have looked in the 1930s as a Richfield station. There's a small museum inside, and it's one of those places where you can get your Route 66 passport stamped, if you're into that.
Oh, here's a little bit of the history about the Cucamonga. I think it's pronounced Cucamonga, not Cucamonga, but anyway. Service station here. And we continue getting our kicks on Route 66. This is definitely gonna take longer than I expected. But we continue. I mean, we still have an extra day of buffer. If I have to make it to Santa Monica tomorrow morning, we're still kind of good.
Lunchtime is approaching, and I'm pondering what to eat. So many choices.
There's a donut place that I might patronize. Yeah, I'm not a sweets guy, but I love donuts. A good donut, oh man, good Krispy Kreme, or a Boston cream, or there's an added benefit to doing this slower Route 66 route here in Southern California, because I'm getting to discover places like Rancho Cucamonga is very nice. Maybe we should spend some time here, you know. It's when you go on the freeway, you don't get to see the city, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
Next up, the Old Sycamore Inn. Originally opened in 1848 as a stop for the Butterfield Overland Stage Company. In 1912, it was expanded to what we see today. Let me tell you, if it was later, I might go for a steak, but it doesn't open until 5 p.m., so we're gonna continue a little more. On the next block, across the street, we have the Magic Lamp Inn, which opened in 1940 as Lucy and John's Cafe, which eventually burned down and became the Magic Lamp in 1955. Let me park here at Vaughn's really quick.
I parked here at the supermarket for a minute. I mean, this is not something I usually do, but it's gonna be literally 30 seconds walking to the corner and back because there's something I want to show you. Something I want to see myself. This is the third of these statues that we see along the route. It is called the Madonna of the Trail.
Actually, there are 12 of these identical statues along the old National Trails Highway. 3 of them are on or close to Route 66. We saw the one in Albuquerque. We kind of missed the one in Springfield, Missouri, and apparently there is one in Kingman too. How did we miss that one? So you see why I had to stop here, right? It might be a cool idea to make a road trip to see all 12 of them. Here's Wolf's Market Kitchen and Deli, originally opened in 1917. In this location since 1927. California is definitely older than it looks.
Even though it's just one long, huge, uninterrupted metropolitan area, each city has its own character. Like Rancho, Cucamonga, I really like. This one is a little more laid back. We'll see what Pasadena looks like. But yeah, you can tell, it's a different vibe, if you will.
There's that donut place I was talking about earlier.
I was gonna get a donut, but I changed my mind. The ramp to get up to that parking lot was a little too steep for Pelicurso anyway. I don't want to bottom out.
Here's the sign for the Azusa Foothill Drive-In Theater, which operated from 1961 until 2001. I didn't film it, but I stopped at the Azusa Pacific University parking lot for a quick lunch, and now we continue. Taking a break from the suburban sprawl. This is actually the first time it feels this way since we arrived in San Bernardino this morning. Now this is called Duarte. Monrovia will be coming next. Here we have the Immaculate Conception Church. Across the street, the Flying A service station from 1925. Apparently 3 antique gas pumps were on display until around 2020. We're gonna go a little farther west and check out Old Town Monrovia. This is very picturesque, with that mountain as the backdrop. There are supposed to be lots of hiking trails up there.
Yeah, Monrovia here seems very nice, and each, town, municipality has its own character, even its own signage, which is very cool. And this drive here with the mountain in front of us, this is very nice. We're gonna see we're off the route, by the way. We're gonna see a hotel that is off the route, and then we'll return to the route. And eventually we'll make it to Santa Monica, probably tomorrow actually. I already made a reservation in the Hollywood area. It's called Hollywood RV Park. Still a little bit out of the way. It's in Van Nuys, but it's the closest one. Oh, is that Mark Twain I see?
That's what's next. The Aztec right here on the right. It doesn't seem to be open, but let's park and find out. I could stretch my legs actually.
Well, I've kind of accepted the fact that we may not make it to Santa Monica today, but let's see as much as possible. This is supposed to be one of those historical landmarks. Old Aztec Hotel.
Built in 1925 in a Mayan revival architectural style that merges Art Deco with Mayan script.
Well, the Mayan Bar and Grill doesn't open till Friday, so scratch that one.
Cool benches here with the tiles.
Very cool. You can tell it's been here for a while. Yeah, I don't think this is open at all.
Some of the other businesses are open, but not the hotel.
Let's see. Nope. Can't really see much in there. It certainly looks like some businesses are occupying the building itself. But the hotel, I'm gonna walk across the street to get a better frontal view, if you will. There it is. The old Aztec Hotel.
The neon sign seems legit too. I wonder if it still works.
Well, at least the building is being used and, not in ruins like other landmarks we've seen along the route. All right, onward. Now we gotta go back to Route 66. There's a Denny's restaurant, actually, that is supposed to be very historic.
The next city is called Arcadia. Alright, let's park here. There is 2-hour free parking and we're just gonna be here for about 10 minutes.
A little too close, perhaps? Anyway, I think the trick is to stop often and get off the car, or the RV in this case, and see some of the landmarks, because otherwise it can become a tedious drive. Actually, let me make sure I locked it. And this is the thing. I've been thinking of naming this episode I drove through LA on Route 66, so you don't have to, because it is really, it is a long drive. Well, seems like a lovely town, downtown Arcadia. And I'd like to emphasize, it is early December, what, 4th today? And it's perfect temperature here in Southern California. Oh my gosh, it's probably 73 degrees, I don't know. Here we are, California, Route 66. Flat screen TV here in the middle of the street. Every city has its, the iconography of the signs. Even the Route 66 signs is different in every city. Oh, look at this place. This is what I was looking for. It's a Denny's restaurant, but with a unique architecture.
This particular building, built in 1967, used to belong to the Van de Kamp Dutch Bakery, founded in 1915. And they had this trademark Dutch windmill in all their bakeries and coffee shops. Today, only this one survives, and it is nowadays a Denny's restaurant.
On to Pasadena next. I'm really afraid to hit that tree back there. I did hit the tree. Let's see the damage. Actually, it may have survived.
We're now approaching Pasadena, and the street lights are like in the shape of bells. From here forth, I doubt very much we're gonna be able to stop and get off the RV to walk around. Parking is bound to become increasingly difficult. This Cameron seafood seems to be really good. It's San Francisco-style fish house and the staple here in Pasadena. Ooh, Rose Parade. I guess this is where it happens. Here's the Saga Motor Hotel from 1957, a near-perfect time capsule of a 1950s California motel. Coming up after this church is the ornate Howard Motor Company building, originally a Packard dealership that opened in 1927. Now in this more modern area, downtown Pasadena. Very soon we're going to turn left onto the Arroyo Seco Parkway going towards downtown Los Angeles. This is where I'm supposed to make a left, but I'm gonna make a right instead, see if I can stop to change the battery on the mirror camera. Yeah, this will do for 30 seconds. Ooh, look at that! That is the Pasadena City Hall. I would have never seen it had I not detoured to change the battery. Now for real, going south towards the Arroyo Seco Parkway. This is it, freeway entrance. It is also California Highway 110. This was the first freeway west of the Mississippi, completed in 1940. It is also, of course, Route 66. Some of these bridges are very old and very historic. These on and off ramps are not for the faint of heart. We're gonna get off the freeway for a little bit because there is something I want to see on Figueroa Street. Well, there it is, the Chicken Boy. It is a colorful fiberglass statue, kind of like a muffler man, but it has a chicken head. Very odd. There are some other landmarks in the area, but at places like this is where the RV becomes a little less convenient, let's say it. City parking can be difficult. Let's get back on the Arroyo Seco towards downtown.
We're getting back on the parkway, and you saw those merges to go in and out. I mean, this could be an adventure. Let's see.
Turn right onto the California 110 South ramp, then continue straight onto California 110.
Yeah, this is it. California 110 South. Watch for stopped vehicles.
Continue straight onto California 110.
Oh boy.
There are police reported ahead.
It's now or never.
I'm glad the ProMaster has pretty good acceleration.
This is a scary freeway. Oh, I can see downtown in the distance already.
This here on the right is Chinatown. And this is a little bit of a detour from the official route, although at some point there was an alignment that went through downtown, through Broadway if I'm correct. Los Angeles is, of course, one of the great American cities, and will return for a more comprehensive visit one of these days. Right now, we're just going to do some highlights and finish this epic journey. On the right, Olvera Street and Pueblo de Los Angeles, known as the birthplace of Los Angeles. Across the street, Union Station. Here I'm going to turn towards Broadway, which was the original Route 66 alignment. The tall building is the Los Angeles City Hall. going towards the heart of downtown. Probably because we don't see it as often, sometimes we don't realize Los Angeles is this great old city with tons of character. We only get told about how sketchy it is and the homelessness problem, but this place has such great potential. I mean, it is kind of nice around here. Somewhere out there in the concrete jungle is the Route 66 sign I'm looking for. The sun in my face doesn't help matters navigating downtown, but I think we're approaching the corner where that official roadside attraction sign is located. Yes, there it is, 7 and Broadway, the original terminus of Route 66 from 1926 to 1939.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get back on the official route. I think we've had enough downtown fun for one day, don't you think? I'm actually kind of tired. I've been driving all day. I doubt we're gonna make it to Santa Monica, but I'm gonna try. I'm still gonna try. On the route, it would take a lot longer. I know it's gonna take at least 2 hours. It's 2:20. I don't wanna. Yeah, we're gonna make it like up to all the way to Hollywood, and after that, we're going to the RV park, take a break, and tomorrow morning, first thing in the morning, we're coming to Santa Monica.
First, we're going to take Sunset Boulevard, and then Santa Monica Boulevard. We're back on the Mother Road. It was bound to happen. We hit rush hour traffic. Now for sure we're never gonna make it to Santa Monica today. Here on the left, the legendary Formosa Cafe from 1939, often frequented by the likes of Frank Sinatra, Humphrey Bogart, James Dean, and Elvis Presley. We're in Hollywood after all. As we arrive in Beverly Hills, this is where I'm gonna call it. Let's go to the RV park, and tomorrow we'll finish the route in the morning with the sun behind us. So many nice houses. There is so much wealth here in Southern California. Now descending upon Van Nuys, California. Here we are, Hollywood RV Park. Let's check in. This is a tight place, so they insist in guiding me the whole way through.
And any trash, there's dumpsters in the very front of the park, right before you go out the gate on the right-hand side.
Okay, perfect.
Okay?
All right, thanks.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Alright, let's finish this adventure, shall we? And I must confess, I'm going to cheat a little. I'm going to skip about 3 miles of Route 66, mainly the Beverly Hills and Century City parts. If you wanna see those, watch the video I did with my mom last summer.
Here we are merging onto the infamous 405. Let's hope we don't have to do this again.
I'm just gonna take the 405 and exit at Santa Monica Boulevard and head west from there. There on the left, Century City, the area we're going to skip. And now we're about to exit onto Santa Monica Boulevard to drive the last 4 miles of the Mother Road. We're now on the home stretch. Greetings from Santa Monica, California. There's the sign, so we know we're on the right track. We can already see the Pacific Ocean.
Well, found parking here on the street, $2.50 an hour. I put 2 hours just in case.
It's another beautiful day in California.
Beautiful morning here in Santa Monica. All right, a couple of points of interest here, but first let's go to the pier. Here we are at the last quarter mile of Route 66. Well, not really, the official sign is somewhere else, but this is the photo op, if you will.
We can see the Pacific Coast Highway down there as we walk down to the pier. I can already see the sign.
Okay, here we have the famous sign, and of course there's a line to take a picture with it. But Santa Monica, the end of the trail. Here we are, we've made it finally to the end of the trail. Santa Monica on Route 66. So that's it, here we are, almost a year in the making. We've made it to Santa Monica. Let's go to the end of the pier now. And this is one of the first times that I've ever made a line to take a picture with the sign, but I think this time it was worth it. So here we go. Let's walk to the end of the pier just because we're here. And I'm glad I decided to do this in the morning because there's not that many people. As you saw, I was able to find parking. I hope it is safe over there. I mean, we can see it from here probably. Here we go, all the way to the end. This is Pacific Park. That's that. Yeah, not today, but perhaps one of these days we should visit Pacific Park. Well, I see another Route 66 sign here, so let's check it out. In fact, this one even looks a little more legit. Here we are. We've made it to the end of the pier. Oh, check it out. They have a tribute to Robert Wildmeyer.
Yeah, he was famous for making all those illustrated maps of the route.
We came from Chicago all the way here. 2,347 miles. Now with that, this is very cool and all, but now we're gonna go to the real end of Route 66. But this is like the more scenic end of Route 66, if you will. Well, coincidence, I just met some subscribers, you viewers of the channel here from Chicago, and they also did Route 66, you know. Here we go, the end of the trail. Goodbye, end of the trail. Now we're gonna go to the beginning. The other beginning. Or the other end, I don't know.
I think this is the famous booth where you get your passport stamped. It seems to be closed today. Now we're gonna look for another Route 66 marker, and we're gonna be getting more official as we're moving along, because let's face it, that sign on the pier was never the real end of Route 66. Like, just because Chicago now decided to move the beginning to the Navy Pier, it doesn't make it so. It is just an easier photo op for tourists. This is Santa Monica Boulevard.
And this marker coming up would make a lot more sense. Let me show you why. Because it is at the end of Santa Monica Boulevard. So this would be where the road meets the ocean. And they have a marker here for the Will Rogers Highway. Highway 66, the main street of America. And here we have yet another Route 66 sign, but this one is at the visitor center. I didn't know they had a visitor center here, which doesn't seem to be open right now.
Yeah, it opens at 11. No Route 66 trip would be complete without a visit to Mel's Drive-In. This place is legendary, more so because of the fact that this is the true end and beginning of Route 66. But first, let's eat.
Well, what better way to end this epic journey than right here at Mel's Drive-In at the end of the route. It's certainly been an unforgettable journey. And now, this is it. I'm gonna take a picture of the sign out there, and yeah, I don't want it to end, but it's over. This one is called the Route 66 Burger for a reason, I guess. Yeah, and like they say, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, so why not celebrate with a local IPA, right? It's called Inclined IPA from Santa Monica Brew Works. Cheers, everybody. Well, that certainly hit the spot. Jukebox, very cool. Now let's take a picture of that famous end of Route 66 sign and be on our way.
Well, this is the end, but also the beginning.
Well, this is it for the route. We've conquered Route 66, the main street of America, the Mother Road. As always, thank you so much for watching, and see you on the road.